We're live. Hey everyone.
Hey.
We are live and we hope you're ready for tonight's hot.
Now y'all
Mwah.
now y'all know we always start out at least 5 or 6 minutes behind. It's always technical difficulties.
Well, no, actually it wasn't technical difficulties. We had an issue with the link. So the whole back end of YouTube, if you put it in the wrong way, I mess it up. So forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. I am but a human.
We charge it to the head and not the heart.
Yeah, so we hope you guys are ready for tonight. You guys have been enjoying this. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And tonight is for our singles.
We've been going for the past 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks of working and focusing on couples. But what if you're not a couple? Hopefully,
Yes.
this will still be applicable. So, if you know someone who's a single, we are focused on
Invite him
y'all.
in, invite him in.
We focused on y'all tonight.
Yes.
You ever had that time where you wish you would have had a guide
Yes.
or a benchmark or a baseline
Or some
or
help.
some instructions about what should you do when you are starting to date, or should you be dating? If I am dating, should I have something that I'm looking forward to, or what should I be looking at or looking
Right.
for?
Yeah. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so we're going to have our 10 questions, 10 things that basically you need to know, or I wish I knew, or that will help you on your journey towards dating. I know some of you guys are probably had the wrong link. Again, I apologize for that. So we have the questions already ready. And as usual, put your questions in the chat, or if you're watching this later on, put your questions in the comments and we will answer them. So we're going to both answer it because it's for both males and females. It's basically for singles. So we're going to answer the questions. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Mhm.
Okay, I have something I want to say. It's getting warm. I mean, starting to get colder, and so I want to say that I was asking Gil. I said, what if you were a pair, if you were a piece of, if you were a garment, what would you be?
A garment?
Would you be a garment? A garment.
Something close.
Something.
Okay.
If you were an article of clothing,
Okay.
would you be a pair of sweatpants or would you be blue jeans? In the way that you are in relationships.
Is that rhetorical, or you
No,
want me
I'm
to
asking
answer?
you. I want you to answer it. Or
I
you want me to
think.
answer first?
How about you go
Okay,
first?
I'm going to answer
Because you can tell
first.
she wanted to go
I'm going
first
to answer
on me.
first. If I were a garment,
Garment. Yeah.
I would be a pair of blue jeans because one of the things I love about blue jeans is that blue jeans don't lie to you. If you have gained weight, guess what? Your jeans, they don't fit you. And so I think that in relationships, I'm the kind of person that if something is not working, I'm going to tell you. And so it's important that we are open to knowing, like, I mean, your jeans, you can blame the dryer, you can blame, but really the reason why the jeans don't fit is because we did something, too much of something or not enough of something. So that's what I would be if I were a article of clothing. What would you be, baby?
I'll just be. And you said as it pertains to relationships.
Yes.
As it pertains to relationships, of course I'm going to say the jeans.
Would you? You be jeans.
Yes, because it will always force you to get better.
Yes.
If you know you've gotten a little bit bigger, you know you need to do something to get a little bit smaller.
Right.
So that's why I'm gonna say, which means if you want to get better at doing something, you're gonna have to put some work in. We talk
Yes.
about work all the time on this channel when it comes to your relationships. And the work that we are talking about tonight is actually in dating.
Yes, it's
And
going to be fun too.
I know Renee said we got 10 questions, but we actually gonna give you 15. We're gonna 15, 5, 5, 5. Just remember 5, 5, 5.
You can do
Because
15. That's a lot.
well, 15 in different areas, because there's different stages and different things that you should be asking yourself as it becomes to getting married, or not getting married, but on the road to getting married as far as dating. And the first area that we want to talk about is why.
Yes.
Why do you date? We're going to give you 5 reasons about why you date as we see it, because before we were married, we were dating.
Yes.
So,
And before you're dating, you're single. And so just know that this channel is designed to help us all at different stages in our life, because we all start off single.
Mhm.
So
And the first one is you need it. You date. The why you date is to get to know someone. That's the first one. And the reason why is because obviously you have to know the person that you want to spend a lot of time with for compatibility reasons, or if you're even wanting to pursue a relationship.
right.
So that I remember going back to this, I asked our back in a few years back, we were in another state, and I used to be a police officer. So we were traveling, and I used to ask one of the patrolmen, and I was like, you know what? These are younger guys than I was. I had already been dating. And I asked them, what's the purpose of dating? And you know how many answers I heard? I heard everything. And this went on for like 8 hours all night. Everybody had reasons and everybody had their own philosophy. But I came back with the reason that you date is preparation for marriage.
Yes, I agree.
That's just
And if you don't agree that dating is preparation for marriage, put it
in
in
the
the
chat.
comment or
And
the
why?
chat.
And why you don't.
Yes. Yes.
So the first one we were talking about is the reason why you're going to be dating someone is to get to know them.
Right.
That's so important because when we were dating, what was something that stood out to you as far as getting to know me that was, let's say, a challenge for you?
Well, because I am an extrovert and I am talkative, and you are an introvert
Hmm.
and you are a thinker. And at the time, I didn't know that. And
Right.
so one of the challenges was understanding how to get you to open up.
Hmm.
And asking you over and over and over and over again was not a good strategy. And so a part of it is learning how to communicate with the person in a way that makes them open up.
Hmm.
And so I realized for you, it was not asking you over and over and over again. It was just asking you what you think.
And that's the operative word that you use in there is to learn.
Right.
So one of the main focal points should be is to learn this person,
Right.
learn things about them, be curious, be
Mm-hmm.
inquisitive. That is the time to be all those things because as you are in a relationship and the longer it goes down the road, you're going to find that you're not going to talk as much as you used to talk when you were dating. I think that's where the first part, when you have that new feeling and it's something new, you just want to know every single thing about this person
Yeah.
because you're so focused on just them and you want to know every detail. And hopefully that will continue throughout your relationship. But we have learned over the time of working with couples that it tends to decline and go back up unless something bad happens. When
Right.
bad things happen, that's it seems like focus of conversation becomes paramount.
Right.
That's when you have a lot to say. But if you started out is to learn someone, then you'll know that's a habit that you need to keep going throughout your relationship.
That's correct. That's
So
correct.
I'll give you the next one. Build on your emotional intimacy.
Yes. And the
What that?
reason
Talk
why
about that. I know that's your favorite topic.
yeah,
Intimacy.
the reason why emotional intimacy is important is because emotional intimacy is not sex. It's getting to know their temperament. It's getting to know their past. It's getting to know um their views on things. And so
Hmm.
I think a part of it is getting to know someone emotionally is more important than just getting to know them physically because you have to be vulnerable.
Right.
You have to be open. You have to trust that person.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's an important.
Because it's going to force you to go to a deeper level. It's going to
Yes.
force you to not stay so surface because when you're first dating, that's where you always want to stay.
Yeah.
You only want to show the good parts about it. This is we're talking about why dating. Why do we date? Why
Yes.
date at all? So that what Renee is just talking about emotional intimacy is going to allow you to go deeper at a deeper level because as you go deeper into the relationship, it's going to give you the ability to be more committed. It's
Yes.
going to be allow you to be more open with the
Hmm.
person that you're with.
Right. That's
Would you
very
say
true.
would that be
Yes.
fair to say?
Yes, it would be very, very much so.
And I think that one thing that came out of that time when I was asking all the younger guys, these are all single guys too. So they were asking, a lot of them would say it's to explore compatibility. So that's number three, explore incompatibility. How do you know if I'm even compatible with this person?
Yeah.
First off, you got to talk and get to know them. But why is compatibility so important?
Well, because it's just like if you as a woman, if you're trying to get together an outfit, you're trying to get
Hmm.
ready. You want to make sure that things are coordinated and they match and they look good together. Well, it's the same thing with being compatible with someone. You need to know their values, you need to know their goals, you need to know their dreams, you need to know their deal breakers. And so you need to have an idea of their character. And so if those things don't line up, no matter how much you may be interested, if you're not compatible, it won't last.
I remember when I was dating in the dating phase, even before Renee, I knew this, but I didn't know it. I remember going on a date with someone, and the person got into the car, and I think I was maybe, and I'm a very punctual person. I try to be on time for a lot of things. Even now to this day, it's important to me.
Yes.
And even then, when we were dating, it was important to be on time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was traffic or something, and I was late. And I think it was only like 2 minutes or 3 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute this is the first date now, the person got into the car and they just went in, just started
Went in
talking
about what?
as far as about why I was late,
Wow.
as far as like you were late, and all I heard was, you remember that cartoon, wah, 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 wah. And I was like, I just met this person and they already going in. And before I could even put the car in drive, you know what I did?
What'd you say?
I said, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work.
You did?
I ended it right then and there before I even pulled out the driveway. I said, you know what?
They got them blue jeans.
That compatibility was totally off right from the very beginning, because can we discuss things? Absolutely. But this person was going in.
Yes.
I mean, like hard, like complaining from the jump. Not, hey, and not even giving me a chance to explain why I was late. Just, you were late, and I just tuned it out. I instantly shut it off, and they went in. And I said, let's end the date right now, because it's still early. You got time to catch up with your friends. I got time to catch up with my friends, and we can salvage a good day as far as a good night. It was like a Saturday night. You don't want to waste it. So imagine that you go down that road, you go on the date, and you are in, and I just seen it going downhill like this the whole night. So why would you try to salvage it? I just said, you know what? I'm going to cut it loose right now.
Wow.
And when I said that, she kind of looked at me like, are you serious? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I am. Yeah. So that's one thing. So that's just something that came because we try to apply things that are actually happening in real life. And that was something that happened in real life. So that compatibility is very, very much important, because on the other side of that, what about the lifestyle? Do you think dating and knowing a person's lifestyle is important?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because if, let's just say, for example, if I even like our exercise habits, our nutritional habits. Hi, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. If our lifestyles are different, then that's going to make it hard for you. It says the two should become one.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're over here on the left and I'm on the right, then more than likely we're not even going to meet up. So we definitely can't be together.
Right.
So.
And you think about that, even from, I think another reason why we date is for some people date, and this is nothing wrong with dating for this reason. We said it's for preparation for marriage. Some people just like dating for socialization.
Yes, that's true.
Just to be socializing, right. Just to be hanging out, just having fun.
But as long as you're dating to be social, not because you don't like to be alone.
Ooh.
Because
okay.
If you have a
you
problem,
got to expand on that one.
If you have a problem with dating is not a solution for loneliness.
Mm.
Because if you think that I'm going to date someone because I'm lonely, then basically you're putting the responsibility of your feeling fulfilled on another person.
Wow.
So dating should not be, or getting married. You shouldn't be getting married because you're lonely, because a person can't feel that. You have to be okay with you and being with you by yourself,
right,
before you can give yourself to somebody else.
Wow. So I didn't think about it in that context, because you think about when you first started dating, you're not thinking I'm just doing this to be alone, or is that your motivation? I think that requires somebody to be really thinking about and having a plan of why am I dating in the first place, which is what we're talking about on this Thursday Night Live. You just joining us. Hi. Welcome. We're
so glad you're here.
So we're talking about it. So socializing and having fun, which is not a problem.
No.
But I still think you have to have a plan for the purpose of the person that you're with and hanging out with.
Right. Exactly.
Because like we talked about already about the lifestyle, that while that is important, you need to know, is this person even fun to be with? That's one thing I can say that is so important, and it continues on throughout the relationship, that you just enjoy each other's company.
But you know what, babe? I didn't know that happened to you. I didn't know you put somebody out of your car.
Oh, you still stuck on the first
He
one.
put this. I
I
mean,
did not.
y'all.
I did not put the person out. I asked them to get out because to salvage their night. I was thinking about them.
For all of y'all who think Gil is just quiet and I control him,
I am,
honey,
and she don't.
no, no. This man has a whole mind of his own, and he's gonna do what he want to do. He put the chick out.
I didn't put her out of the. Stop saying that. I didn't put her out. I just, logically speaking, it just made better sense to me because I was already tuned out. I was already. This is for those who just jumped in. I did not kick this person out the car. I just said I want you to salvage your night.
I'm
Okay.
gonna release you into your destiny. Get
Yeah,
out my car,
basically.
boo.
Moving on. How about that? So we're gonna move on to the last reason, and I mentioned it already. And I already mentioned it, is to find a life partner. This is a life partner. So when we started dating, we knew that we wanted to be together even early in our relationship.
Yes,
I
we
can
did.
say that even when we were dating at the very beginning, even though we had known each other for a while, you're dating because some people are wanting to get married. If you're listening, single doesn't mean you're young and just a teen, preteen, pre-20s, 30s, or whatever.
Right.
You could be older and still be single.
Yeah.
And these still are very, very much
And you
applicable.
can be married and you still need to date.
Ooh.
Dating is a part of your life forever. And so that's why I thought it was really cool when the Lord gave this to talk about dating, is that dating is not just for teenagers, it's not just for singles. And guess what? You can date yourself.
Okay, go ahead. Explain that one because some people are like, "What are you talking about?"
Because we talked about, I did like a little short talking about self-care. You One of the things, we have a lot of people in our life that we love and we are grateful for, but you should be able to do stuff with yourself. Have you ever gone to a movie by yourself? Have you ever, all the things you want someone else to do for you? Do you get your own nails done? Do you get your own feet done?
I don't.
Do you? Oh, I know you don't like.
Oh, you're talking to the ladies
No, I'm
right now.
talking
Go
to
ahead.
ladies,
No, go
ladies,
ahead.
ladies, 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 ladies. So date yourself, and if you're married, date your mate. So if you say, well, I'm still gonna have nobody, date yourself. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the freedom to go where you want to go and eat the food you want to go to the restaurant you want to do. Enjoy that, because if you can enjoy dating you, I guarantee you that somebody else will enjoy dating you.
And there's nothing wrong with the last reason we were talking about is finding that person you want to spend the rest of your life with,
Right.
because you may be in the latter stages of life that you're saying, you know what, I don't want to be out here messing around because
Mm-hmm.
we all know that there's some craziness going
Yes,
on.
there is.
But on the same token, there's nothing wrong with making that be known from the jump, from the very,
Yes.
just like me and that girl in the car. I wanted to have a good time from the very beginning. But if you're already nagging and going in, you know what? Let's just cut the losses.
You know what? Okay, so we're gonna segue into the other part of this. So this is what dating is and what dating does. And then this is when you shouldn't date.
Uh-oh.
You should not date if you still have pain from your past,
Oh
you
yeah.
haven't unpacked. And one of the things that Gil said in another one of our videos, he said the reason why he enjoyed me, because he said I was fun and I was laughing,
Hmm.
and I was like, it all makes sense now, because he had these experiences. So, and Gil and I are having this conversation we're talking about today. Please do not introduce someone to your representative, but please introduce people to the best version of you. We all have bad days. We all have things that are
Yeah.
happening. But if you're still so angry and upset and bitter about what happened to you, let's just even say before you get on a date, then you don't need to be dating yet. You need to know how to compartmentalize, which is something I think that men are really good at, compartmentalizing how you feel so that this person does not get what happened on to them to you today spilled onto them.
Yeah, because that process of we all have past experience and things that we have come out of. But when you carry that forward into a new relationship that somebody that you just met, it's not fair to them because
No,
they
they didn't
had
do
no idea.
anything.
They didn't do
Right? They
anything.
don't
They
know
just
you. That
showed up.
right.
But if you are still holding them accountable for your past hurt and pain, that is something that you really need to resolve at the very beginning. So what we're talking about now, if you're just joining us on this Thursday night live session,
Hey!
we're talking about why you should be dating, why you shouldn't be dating, and some of the things that you can actually look out for. And the first one is about when you probably shouldn't be dating right now is if you're still dealing with some personal
Pain
pain.
from your past. With some of the other ones?
How about this one? Unrealistic expectations.
Ooh. In the chat, if you've had unrealistic expectations before, put what that expectation
What
was.
does that look like? You start a date out with someone and you expect them to do A, B, C, D
Yes.
because let's just say your past experiences with boyfriend, girlfriend, A, B, C, whatever.
I have a good one.
Okay, go ahead.
So if you're going on a date and you expect someone to spend $300 on the date, that's unrealistic.
Or you think it should cost a certain
Yeah,
amount?
if you already going to the date, we're going on a date, we got to spend at least $300. That's unrealistic. Because what if the person that you're going on the date with planned something that was like that didn't cost anything, but it was amazing. Like they plan to take you and they're gonna be on the river and you're gonna paint and eat. What if it's not about the money? So I think sometimes if we make a monetary requirement, I think that can be an unrealistic expectation.
Because I think you also have, I think sometimes when you're starting out, you have this mindset already etched in your mind how something is supposed to go or
Hmm.
be, or even a person is supposed to behave a certain way or do a certain thing. Well, that's an unrealistic
It
expectation
is.
because when you already go in having, there's nothing wrong. There's a difference between a standard
Right.
and an expectation.
Exactly. A
Having a,
standard is what I uphold for me. An expectation is what I demand of you.
whoa, say that again.
A standard is what I live up to for me,
Hmm.
and our expectation is a demand that I put on you.
Right.
Either whether it's communicated or if it's uncommunicated.
And that's a good point because sometimes if a expectation is not
That's
communicated,
even a problem too.
but guess what? Most people will still expect you to meet it.
Right.
So how can somebody meet an expectation that you never told them that was out there?
They're supposed to be able to read your mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's another unrealistic expectation is to expect someone to be able to read your mind.
Okay. How about this one? You're a spiritual mismatch.
Ooh, unequally yoked. That's what the Bible
We
calls
are
it.
followers of Christ and believers, and that's what we follow. And so we
Yes.
use that as a gauge. We use that as a foundation.
Yes. When we started dating, we were both heathens. Neither one of us were believers. Neither one of us were
That's
Christians.
that's still a funny
So
word to me. That
heathen.
just make me sound crazy. That's just, you can just imagine people running around acting nutty, boy. And we probably were.
Yeah, we were. We were. We
Yeah.
were. But you should have the same faith system beliefs. Either you're both believers or one is a believer. You're both believers or you're both not believers. It's really hard when you are a believer and
Right.
you want to, and I think it's even wrong for us as believers to have an expectation of godly behavior from people who have not committed to follow
And
Christ.
I would even say that while we are followers of Christ, everybody may not be. And
Right.
whatever your religious or your
Your
spiritual
faith
faith,
base.
your faith base
Right. It
is,
should be equal.
it should be the same.
Yes.
Because imagine you get mixed up with someone who is totally opposite of what you may believe
You're
or
gonna be pulling
follow.
each other. It's
Do
gonna
you
be
think that's going to cause a conflict?
yes, it is.
Let us tell you from experience over 18 plus years of working with
It's gonna
a
be a
lot of people
problem.
that are
You can
faith
say
and
it's
not
not a
faith,
problem. It's gonna be a problem.
because you are so focused on, man, this person looks
He's
so
so
good, she
cute.
smells
He
so
smells
nice,
so good.
she's so peaceful.
Until he passed gas.
They have all they have all these positive qualities and characters and
And you
attributes,
ignoring.
but you're ignoring a foundational thing that should be a deal breaker for you.
Yes.
But you accept it and just decide, oh, we're gonna make it work.
No.
Or don't use this one. They can change, or you can convert them.
No, dating is not evangelism.
No, if
So
if it
find
is,
someone who has shares your faith.
yeah, don't use that as a guideline, please, please, please. We've seen it multiple times where people compromise. You're better than compromising. Don't
Right.
sell yourself short and compromise on something that is a foundational principle for you and you just overlook it or
Right.
ignore it. That
Right.
that's not fair to
You
yourself.
have to compromise in the relationship because it's you and the other person, but you never compromise your values.
Right, right.
You can compromise your position, you can compromise on you're going to go to dinner or lunch, but you should never compromise on your values.
How about this one? You find yourself, do not date if you find yourself needing to manipulate or give ultimatums to a person
Yeah.
to get them to go out.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work?
Because the only control that God gives us is self-control.
Hmm.
And to think that you can control another human being is a effort in futility.
And I would even say sometimes this will be, you may be on the receiving end of this one.
Hmm.
If someone is manipulating or kind of giving you ultimatums for dating them,
Right.
that should be a red flag,
Yeah.
a
Run,
warning sign.
run, run.
Yeah, because if not, you're going to find yourself starting to second guess, well, and compromising.
Right.
You do
On your
not.
values.
And so that manipulation, what does that look like? That may look something like, well, if you really liked me like you say you do, they
You
always
would
try to
do
flip
this.
it around.
Right.
When someone tries to flip it around, or we do that reverse psychology, make it seem like you're the problem,
Mm-hmm.
you may want to say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mm-mm.
No, no, no. This is not how it's going to work. Because if they're starting to manipulate now,
Right. It's
or
only going to escalate.
or it may look like something like he may say something like, well, I'll go out with her instead of you.
Well, bye.
Or I'm interested in her instead.
Or I'm trying to decide between you and her.
Oh my gosh.
We're not, this is not a restaurant menu. You are not an option. You are the priority. And if someone can't make you the priority, male or female, then that's not someone that's for you. The
Right.
person that's for you is going to make you their priority.
And this one kind of goes back into what Renee described, the one of don't date if you feel pressure from peers.
Oh, yeah. Girl, you ain't got no man. Man, you ain't got no woman.
Like, dude,
When
why
you
you
gonna
feel
have kids? One of the things, well, we got married really young, but one of the things that I realized that people will ask you questions that they know the answer to.
Hmm.
And so I always answer questions with questions. When people ask me like, well, you had that baby yet? Yeah, I had that baby. I'm pregnant again. So when people ask you, you're not dating yet? Yeah, I'm dating. Oh, really? I'm dating myself. Because so many times when people see you doing things that they can't do or they didn't do or they wish they would have done, it's easier to critique than to compliment. Be okay with you. Because when we say you are more than enough, we are not just saying that. We mean that. And we're both Gil's in the Air Force. So I have spent
Not
a,
anymore,
a
but
year alone without my husband. And guess what? I didn't die. So a year, 12 months, and I already was in a relationship. So when you've already used to being with someone and you can spend a whole year, so anything that you think you want, you're saying, okay, I want to get married. Okay, be able to spend at least that amount of time by yourself.
right.
You owe that to yourself.
It should be a personal choice. It
Yeah.
should be something that you're deciding when you're ready, because
Not because of a clock
they're
or
oh my gosh. I
yeah.
don't know what that clock looked like, and I've never seen it, you know. But that's
Don't let the
something.
clock don't let the
Or
clock control you.
or even the one of pressure from family members or moms, dads, and talking about, well, this is for my older folks, you know, I want grandbabies.
Some
Well,
people don't need to have no kids.
tell them to go borrow somebody's,
Get a puppy, go visit. Work
practice
it,
or
serve
something
at
like,
church.
because that still goes back to you having pressure put upon yourself to do something that you may not want to. You may be on this journey of self-discovery and trying to figure out what is it that I'm really looking for. And if you feel that societal pressure of get out there and go date, just date a lot of
Right.
people and figure it out as you go along, or
No.
just pressure from a lot of different sources, you may want to say, nah, you know what?
If you feel pressure from other people to make a decision, you owe it to yourself. I did the video. No is really a really real word by
Hmm.
itself. No, or no, thank you. We have to be able to be confident enough, because one of the things my godmother would always say, I want you to make your own mistakes.
Right.
So I want you to make decisions. If you're going to make mistakes, if you're going to fall, if you're going to flub. Do it because it's what you want, not because of somebody else.
I love this. It's a complete sentence.
Yes, a complete sentence. Thank you. That's
And
Blanche.
I'll give you one last one. This is from for my guys. If my guys are out there listening, be financially stable.
Oh, it's for the girls too.
If you ain't ready, do not go out there if you cannot treat your future wife, woman, girlfriend, fiance, whatever you want to call them. I ain't saying you got to give them the best, but you
Well,
should
no,
be
you should give them the best,
the
but
best you can.
it doesn't have to be a financial amount.
No,
You should date within
no.
your income. You should date
That's what I
within
was
what
going
you
to
can
say.
afford.
That's what we talking about. Flat out money. I'm just going to
Right,
call it like it is. If you
right.
cannot afford something, be okay with that and say that from the very beginning, because that comes back to the compatibility. That
Yes.
comes back to
Being
communicating
transparent,
and being
your
open and
integrity.
honest with it. Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. Because guess what? You can go on dates and it not cost you anything.
If you have to borrow to go on a date, you're not ready to date.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
if you have to sacrifice, well, I can't pay the light bill, but we can go on a date. No, you're not ready to date.
Yeah.
You need to again, you need to spend some time with you and a budget and building a hole you can help you get all that together because you need to learn how to manage money before you decide you're going to be in a relationship with somebody else.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you got to be able to offer someone filet mignon
Oh yeah.
and a ride and a very very expensive car to a very very expensive place. You have to be able to offer the best you can by being stable in your financial
That you can
resources
afford to pay
within your
for,
realm.
not charge,
Right,
unless you're using your debit card, because
right.
that's a real big thing because family, sex, and money destroys more relationships than that we're aware of. So don't do that to yourself.
Okay, before we start the last list that we're going to share with you guys tonight about when you things you should do when you know you're ready to
Yes.
date, we'll give you some indicators of that. What's these cards? Because Renee got
Okay,
these
we
cards in
gonna play a
front of her.
game, y'all, tonight.
Oh
We
Lord,
gonna
here we
play a
go. Here we
game. I
here we
got some
go.
cards. We got the cards.
Now, what is these cards?
These are cards because
I have. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know anything about the. I know she got them.
yes. Well, we had two different cards. One of them is called Happy Hour, and then these cards, put my glasses on. They have a brain on them, and I'm gonna put the link for these in the description.
Just for
I'll put the
fun.
notes in there.
If you're interested, good conversation.
These are 52 essential relationship skills. And one of the things that we realize is we try to talk a lot about communication, but if I had to say the secret sauce in a relationship, in our book, Rich Relationships Are
Marital Code, the one.
The Rich Relationship Refuge, the
Okay.
workbook, we talk about the tie, which it is trust, identity, and empathy. Of all the couples we work with over the years, the one thing that we have noticed
The secret
that is
ingredient.
missing in most relationships is empathy. And I have a question for y'all because we hear everyone's always talking about this alpha female. This is just me, my question. Y'all really want to know legitimately.
This is totally off. I don't know where she's going, y'all. So I'm along for the ride.
Come on.
Okay.
Is an alpha female something that is genetic in the way God wired you, or is an alpha female a female with low empathy and emotional intelligence?
Hmm. I would say if you want to respond to it,
Answer,
ladies, we
please,
know some
in the
people are in
chat.
here. So if you want to
I'm not trying to
respond,
step on nobody's toes. I'm just
ask the
wondering.
question again one more time.
Is an alpha female,
You talking about describing? Okay.
when you think about the definition of what that is that something that is these by design?
That's how you are as a
That's how
person.
that God wired you to be an alpha female, or is that a result of a woman who has any low emotional IQ and low empathy?
If you want me to answer it,
No, let's just leave that. Just let that. Just
let
that's
that
gonna be rhetorical. That's
So-
gonna be the question.
so-
and each week I'm gonna ask one like that.
So I would say put that in the chat. If you're watching this later, by all means respond, because we want to hear what you guys have to say, because that may lead into another segment or another conversation we have on these Thursday night lives. But let's go.
I said that because this is what we're going to work on building. Because unlike your IQ, your EQ can increase, and we have episodes on pi, emotional intelligence, We have an assessment on our website, a free emotional intelligence assessment, because the more I interact with people, the more I live life, the more we work with couples, I realize that that's something that people don't really pay attention to. Everyone says be kind, but how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking to a little about today. I said, well, when we have empathy, it being kind just comes natural.
So, for those who may not be familiar with empathy, why don't you share with them, just give an example or brief definition of how you see empathy? What that is empathy?
Sympathy is, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry you feel
I'm
that way.
sorry you feel that way. Here's $1. Sympathy is I step
Empathy.
empathy. That's sympathy. So empathy is I'm so
Talk to
sorry.
them.
Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. What can I do to help you? How can I serve you? How can I? And you even begin to feel what they feel. So I think of empathy as your pain in my heart. So I actually feel it. And empathy requires that you stop and slow down and you think about this from the other person's perspective. Where sympathy, you can be emotion. Empathy requires that you stop
Right.
and step with
I would
sit with
even say
them.
that part is the connection. You actually feel something for what that
Hmm.
person may be going through.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. So if you want to answer that question, I see somebody answer this. I think it could be a mixture of both. It can be.
Yeah, I do
Yep,
too. I
absolutely.
do. I do too.
Absolutely.
I do too. But I think about it because I know for us, I mean, I'm black, and I know that we can be a little bit hard. We can
Uh-oh.
be
That may be a whole nother string of things
yeah.
popped
So
up
so
in the
we
chat.
are going to always so we're going to be working on we're going to always be working on things to help us to build our empathy. So even behind the scenes, you'll be playing a game. We're gonna be building them empathy muscles, y'all.
So give them. Let's do three. Let's do
Okay.
three questions with three cards,
Okay.
and then we're gonna give you the rest of the list for tonight. Talking about giving you some indicators of you are ready today. So she's just pulling these at random. Are these gonna be questions you ask me, or we just ask in
Okay.
general?
The way that it works, the rules, they have rules, and I love that it explains it and it gives you some guidelines.
Okay.
Okay. So the rules are: be respectful, stay curious, show respect.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a relationship building block, and so then all the different letters. So basically, I'm going to ask you a question, and it even talks about making sure that you, if even if you disagree, you do it in a way where it's respectful of the other person.
And I love what Miss T just said here. I'm an
Hey,
alpha
Miss
female,
T.
and for me, it's how God designed me. As I have been told by my mom that I have always been strong-minded, but I also have empathy. That
Yes,
is like a
it's a
man.
superpower.
Oh
I
man.
think that when you because I have been I've never saw myself that way, but I guess that is who I am. But I have always been strong minded and driven but when I developed empathy, when I learned,
It's like a superpower.
it was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So you got this big motor and you got a steering where you can control it.
Right.
I think the empathy helps you to do that.
So let's ask the question.
Okay, so
And you can share these questions with your significant other, somebody you're dating with or married, or if you're watching, even though this is a singles focus right now tonight. But so this is, go ahead.
okay, so it says, listen, what can I do to help you see, hear, feel, and know that I am listening?
Okay, read it one more time for her.
So it says, listen, what can I do to help you see, hear, feel, know that I am listening?
Hmm.
Wow.
And these are rhetorical questions, and they are there to
Now I want
challenge
you to
you.
answer it.
Oh, you want me to
I want
answer
you
it?
to answer. Now, then I'll answer it.
Okay.
And then it also says, it says, describe a time when you felt heard and unheard.
Okay, so read the question one more time, just for those
Okay.
who just jumping in. I make
What
sure.
can I do to help you see, hear, feel, know that I am listening?
I would say, starting out, we kind of had this happen this afternoon. That when we're talking, look at me, make eye contact with. If that means putting your phone down,
Hmm.
put your phone down so I can have 100% of your attention.
Hmm.
And so that's something that if I'm talking and I'm explaining something to you or sharing something with you,
Hmm.
if by just like what you're doing right now, then I know I have your undivided attention. That's
Hmm.
how I would know.
Yeah, so it says see, hear,
Hmm.
feel, and know that I'm listening. So describe a time when you felt heard.
That same situation, because you actually stop, you put your phone down, and you actually acknowledge what I was saying.
Hmm.
You showed me empathy about the situation, how I felt.
Hmm.
You said, okay, I will work on that. And she didn't give me any other follow up with that. It wasn't a, well, this is why, or it wasn't an explanation. She just acknowledged
Yeah,
it, accepted it, and said, okay.
yeah.
So now, same question to you.
Okay. And when you felt it says and a time when you felt unheard.
Prior to that, prior to that, when you before you didn't put the phone down,
Let me tell y'all what
when
had
you,
happened.
what had happened was,
Well, we were having a conversation, and I will have um
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I do that,
Wait, what'd you say?
but I
That's what it
also
looks like, y'all.
but I also will go into like five different lanes. I'm like changing lanes. I'm like changing lanes, changing. And Gil was like,
You need to put your turn signal on when you change topics and change lanes because I can't keep up.
and so I said, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna work on that. I'm changing lanes. I need to physically say because I realized that we hey we're he's a male, I'm a female, we're just different. So when was the time that I felt heard? A time that
I know what she's getting ready to say because it just happened not too long ago. But go ahead.
well we're trying to find some place to live.
Oh no, this is a
And
new
so
one.
I've been working on it. And he said, babe, I really appreciate how hard you've been working to find something because it's a lot of work.
Hmm.
And I appreciated you because
Okay.
you said that because that's something that was, I mean, you didn't have to, but you noticed it. So I felt seen, I felt heard. And a time when I did not feel heard,
If you don't have it, I can give it to you. I can
okay, give
tell
it to
you.
me. When?
Patio furniture.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We shared that
Yeah.
with you on a couple episodes back where we were in the process of moving, and Renee
Yes.
expressed to me how important it was for her to have a some patio furniture that we had at our old house before we moved here, and I just dismissed it and just
I forgot about it. Yeah, you're
and
right.
just casted it off and didn't take it as serious as it meant to her. So she said it multiple times, but I just kind of dismissed it. And so that caused a big rift and we had a conflict and we resolved it.
Yes,
That's
we
why she
did.
don't remember it, which is good. So I know we went a little bit long on that one, but since we try to keep these under an hour, so we want to give you guys the 5 things that you know that you can date. Not that we're giving you permission, that you're
Yeah.
ready to actually date. The very first one I'm gonna give you is that you have is the opposite of what we said in the very beginning, that you have been healed or that you are healed from your past hurts and pains from previous
And
relationships.
the way you'll know you're healed from something is because the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. When you can stop talking about it, then you are healed from it.
Mm.
If you're still talking about it to everybody that will listen, you're not healed from it yet. If you talk about it and it makes you break down in tears, you're not healed from it yet.
And hopefully you're not breaking down in tears on a date.
Yeah.
So this is why we say we think about these things before you go down that road. Then you'll know I may not be ready just yet, because
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That is definitely okay. You
Yes.
should
You need
take that
time.
time. Absolutely.
There is you cannot decide. You can't say, okay, I give you 30 days and you gotta no, that's not the way we heal.
Hmm.
So give yourself the time because you want to be able to give the best version of yourself to this other person and to
Hmm.
God and to you. So take the time, slow down and get healed.
Number 2, ask yourself this question: do I communicate effectively? When
Hmm.
we talk about communicating effectively, we're talking about not only assertive communication, talking about what you actually need from this person,
Right.
but also are you listening
Active
to
listening.
understand?
Right. And so many times we think that communication is talking. And I mean, how many of us, God gave us one mouth and two ears. Two, he wants us to see and hear more
Hmm.
than talk. So listening to understand, not to respond, not to fix.
Yep. And this kind of goes back to part 1. The third one is what are you have identified your relationship goals. What is it, the reason why you want to start dating? Why are you going out there? As they say, I'm gonna put myself back out there. Well, putting yourself back out there is a good thing, but what is your end result? What is your objective? What is it that you want to achieve by going back out there and dating?
Yeah.
We gave you a list already at the beginning of this as far as about some of the reasons why people date. Even if it's on that list, that's okay. If you just want to hang out with somebody,
Yeah, that's cool.
that's fine. But you need to know why you're going out there, because if not, you're going to be all over the place, and you're going to just imagine jumping in your car without a destination in mind, just driving.
Yeah. I remember once my sister, my little sister, she said, I miss you. You
Mm,
miss me? And I said, well, what have you done to make you miss
mm.
you? I work at being missed. What are you doing to put yourself out there? What are you putting out there? Are you putting somebody that when they get in the car and you late, you're gonna go off on, they're gonna go off on the person? Are you putting yourself out there and the first person you're with, you're gonna dump everything that happened to you like 5 years ago in a date? So when you put yourself out there, make sure you're putting not the perfect you,
The
not the
real you.
not the real you, but the real
Hmm.
you that's on a journey of healing. One of the things I think about when Gil said she was fun. I,
Talking about you.
yeah, I'm not. Will someone say you're fun? Because that is a thing. A part of it, the joy of the Lord. That's something that we should see in the life of a believer. And I think sometimes we can be so focused on religion that we lose sight of the joy of the Lord is our strength.
Hmm.
And so get ready. Let God heal your heart.
Number 4, we gave it the opposite of this one, that I am financially stable enough to actually go out on some
That's
dates.
right. I got my coins ready. I got some money saved. I got some money invested. I'm a giver, saver, and so therefore you can really be a blessing to someone on a date.
Right. And because I know, when I've always used this rule when I was dating, if I'm asking you out, then it's on me.
Yes.
If I say, hey, let's meet up and offer an open invitation to like a group of folks, that don't mean I'm paying for everybody. That
But
just
he
means,
does.
no, that just means, hey, let's meet up. Let's go do this particular activity. If you want to join. That means it's on you. But if I say, hey, Renee, do you want to go and do ABC? Then that means I've already made the
I don't
financial
count.
decision. Yeah, you do count.
You gonna pay
You,
for me anyway.
oh, well, yeah, that's true. But we trying to help them.
Okay.
Follow along,
Okay.
please.
I'm sorry.
Y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. And we're gonna give you the last one so we can close out today. We appreciate you guys joining us. If you're just joining us late, please go back and look at the very beginning on this
Yeah.
Thursday night live. We're talking
If
about
you're ready for
dating.
dating, if maybe you're not.
If you're ready, in this one, that you are able to invest the time, effort, and the energy into actually dating. There's nothing worse that I believe than someone who is in it halfway.
Not available.
If you're focused on career, focus on your career.
Yeah.
Don't try to do both. If that's where your main focus is and that's your priority right now,
Because you
make that your
multitasking is not a real thing.
there's no such thing. Nobody wants to feel like you're half in.
Right.
If you're half in, then you're going to probably get half interest,
Right.
or you may not get any interest at all, because people can tell.
Yeah. They know if
Make
you're
it a
not
time,
present.
make it a priority, and place it and let that person know, especially if you deciding that you want to invest time, because that's your most valuable resource. It's not your
Is
money, it's not your career, it's not all the
no.
other
It's your
tangible
time.
things. It is your time, because we only have a limited amount of it. So
Yes.
make sure you invest it wisely in somebody that is worth the time, effort, and energy. But you have to know that before you jump in.
Yes, that's very, very, very true.
So
Can we
those
do
are the
one
lists.
more?
One more question, and then we're gonna close it out.
Okay.
So these are the
What
question
you
cards,
listen?
y'all. Okay, now this is a called Master. Describe a communication skill you would like to improve.
Oh, we just had this conversation. I have got to be better at. I'm going to always have to work on listening and how I listen
Mm-hmm.
and listening with empathy, because empathy is something I'm just learning to develop.
Right.
So listening with empathy.
And I would say the polar opposite of that is I have to do a better job of communicating how I feel.
Yes.
My assertiveness about really thinking about what's really going on with me. What is it that I'm really trying to communicate? Because I have a tendency to go around the block, y'all. and go around the block until I finally get to it. And Renee will do some probing questions, and she'll finally say, "Well, what about this and what about that?" Yeah, that's it. That's what I was getting to. I just went around the block. So
So just like you is good at listening, he's taught me how to be a better listener. I'm good at communicating. So I'm helping him to be a better. I'm not trying to make him like me, but when you're with someone, you're going to learn from each other. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. The people that you spend your time with, they are impacting you. You say things that they say. That's why the Bible says evil association destroys good intention. It's so important that as we're going through this thing called life, that we are mindful of the people that we're spending our time with, and that because again, your time is your most valuable resource. Invest it wisely.
like you invested your time with us. Did you
Yeah,
like that
we love
transition? That was
y'all.
good. That was.
Yes, go ahead,
We
babe.
appreciate you. We appreciate you guys
We
hanging out
love
with us
you.
tonight. We thank you for investing your time,
Yes.
not only in us and in this community, but also in yourself, because the things that we share with you, we hope that you get something out of it that you can take and
And
engraft
apply
it
it.
and apply it and engraft it into your life, that it can pay huge dividends and benefits to the relationships that you have, because that's why we do what we do.
Yes, because we
So,
love you and we want you to have healthy, rich relationships.
because
Because
remember,
that's what
guys,
God wants.
yep, because just remember, we are stronger together,
And
y'all.
we love you, and you are more than enough. And we will see you guys next Thursday. Please like and share and subscribe and turn on the notification buttons, y'all. Y'all will know when we on. I love y'all. Thank you guys so much. Blanche, we love you. Miss T, we love you. We love
Thank
all
y'all
of
for
you guys
sharing.
who come and join us every week.
And y'all don't be scared to put something in the chat. We just real people. We just normal. We just
Yeah.
gonna call it out. You never know how. Trust me, it's a lot of people
And
watch
I'm
these
gonna
afterward.
send Miss T and Blanche a gift because they have
They're
consistently been
always.
here with us.
Thank
So we're
y'all.
gonna send you guys a gift.
Okay, we're out for real, y'all.
Love you guys.
Night.
See you next Thursday. Bye.